And now to our last point, and in my opinion, the best point, the coolest point. It kind of I think everything should end with a cool climax. You know, the final ending, the best part. And I have to apologize. For some reason, my webcam, I'm trying to work out the kinks with it. It's doing this thing. It's like playing delayed or something. So I'm sorry if it's kind of hard to watch. I'm gonna try and work on that and get it fixed. But kind of the best part, saving the best for last, is the final point. Loss is gain, and people are probably going, wait, I'm sorry, did I just hear him right? Did he just say loss is gain? And you're like, how could that be the best part? Like, how can losing something be great? I mean, how does that happen? And um, the first thing is, contrary to popular belief, losing your freedom, there's great joy in that. There really is. And Timothy Keller actually talks about in one of his sermons a great analogy of it, which is um, he was a newlywed and he went to a guy asked him out, you know, you want to go get wings after work? Just go watch the game, get some wings. And he said, yeah, sure. And not even thinking, he didn't call his wife or anything. He just went out with the guy, got some wings, and then he comes home at like 8 or whatever. He was supposed to be home like 3 hours ago, and his wife goes, "Where have you been?" And he goes, "You know, I just went out and get wings." And he goes, "It hit me kind of right then that that was when I no longer had the freedom of just being able to go do whatever I want whenever I want, but now I have the great joy of being married and all the great joys that come with that." And and I mean, losing our freedom really is the ultimate thing, because we know we're being ruled by someone who's a good king, someone who gives us all this freedom. And yes, we're serving him, but it's so easy to serve him. It doesn't even feel like we're serving. It's fun. I mean, and in Mark 8:36, it talks about gaining the whole world, but losing your soul. What good is it to gain the whole world and lose your soul? Yes, you're submitting your earthly freedom, but you're gaining so much. I mean, why would you want all the whole world, which eventually dissolves and deteriorates? And it says somewhere, I'm trying to think of the reference. I think it's Matthew 5, Matthew 6. I read about the other night. It talks about that moths and things will eat up treasures on earth, but the treasures you build up in heaven, they won't be eaten away. They'll be there. They're lasting. They're everlasting treasures, basically. And that's why losing our freedom can come with such great joy. We gain our soul even if we have to lose the whole world for it. Kind of turning that backwards a little. And then Philippians 3 talks about counting everything as lost. Not counting some things as lost. A lot of times we just want to say, you know, I mean, yeah, I'm willing to give up TV and this, but I still want to do this, and this on the side. I mean, we give up these little things, but we're not giving up everything. He counts everything as lost. Lost. I mean, what does it mean to be lost? Someone who has no clue where they are. Basically, their life's miserable. When you get lost, let's imagine this. All right, you're out on a. If you've ever been camping, I love the outdoors. So you're out, let's say hiking. The worst feeling in the world when you're hiking along is, I think I'm lost. Like you turned down the wrong trail. I mean, me and my friend were hiking Table Rock the other day, and we hiked down one of the drainage trails for a little ways, and we realized, I said, you know, let's split up and kind of, I mean, it wasn't that bad. I wasn't the idiot who's like, you know, let's split up and go 10 minutes apart. It was just let me go about 30 feet this way and see if it keeps going. He said, no, I think we're on the wrong trail. We went back and found the right trail. But when you're lost, you're you're miserable basically. You're scared, you're terrified. So if you count everything as lost, everything makes you miserable. if you don't if you don't have God, everything else is miserable. If it is your all in all, basically, you're going to be miserable. Nothing can fill this longing in your soul except God. And then, so that's kind of one of the sub points there. And then stop, stop being God and do your job. Um, and what is our job? Our job is to, um, to serve the Lord, to spread the gospel for His kingdom, to go on missions, to do all these different things, to love our neighbor. I mean, there's all these things throughout the Bible that talks about our job, which could be a whole nother sermon in itself. But we're supposed to stop trying to be God, stop thinking our ways are better, and to just go along, be children, and do our job. Pastor Mark Offord was talking yesterday in church about being children and letting your father worry about the big problems. And he talked about this trip where him and his wife had been on this plane trip, and this their daughter had stayed up screaming all night, and when they got to this house they were staying at in Chile, she didn't speak any the mom didn't speak basically any Spanish hardly, and the people they were staying with didn't speak any English basically, and she's worn out and she's thinking this is miserable, like I'm about to snap. But the kids are going and going, wow, they have Nintendo, and they're all excited. And why can't we do that? Why don't we stop being God for a little bit and start, or well, forever stop being God and do our job? Be children, have fun. I mean, when your job is fun, if you've ever had a job that's fun, it barely feels like work. When I first started working at Baskin Robbins, it was my first job, and I loved working there. I would take anybody's hours anytime. It's not so much the same anymore, but I was ready. I always wanted to work for other people. And I think that's kind of it. If your job's fun, it doesn't even feel like work almost. It's so easy. In Matthew 11, it talks about God's God's yoke being easy and His burden light. That even though there is a yoke and even though there's a burden, it's easy and light. It's not hard. It's easy. It's not necessarily easy to serve God, but when you serve God, it's not it's not like a heavy burden. You're not just, oh, worn out and tired. No, it's refreshing. What a paradox there. Working is refreshing. How can that be? Only through God, really, is that possible. And we'll finish up on this last point, point three, which is what we've been going over, loss is gain, with the final little sub point in closing on the next video. So in part 4.